want to welcome you to, this is different episode of our New Jack Swing podcast. In America, North America, it is known as Modern Sunday. So we our regular top 10 show is going to be back next week with Esther. Wanted to have the opportunity to really talk about our favorite female debut albums, both individual or group. So we're going to have fun with that, and actually, we may get you guys to join in and let us know which is one of your all-time favorite debut albums. So get prepared for that. But before we do that, Stevie, how has your week been?
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. Thanks. Just want to wish everyone a good morning, good evening, good day, wherever you're viewing from. And like I say, happy Mothering Sunday to our North American friends out there.
Yes.
Cherish your mother. They don't stay around that long. That's all I can say. But yeah, well, good to as well as talk about a few albums tonight. We get to converse with our New Jack Swing podcast family that always join us each and every Sunday evening live. We're very blessed to have this little family with us. So good evening to you all as well.
Yes, old school flavor and Mac.
How's your week, Nnamdi? After a superb midweek interview, of course, with the legendary Stetson Sonic.
Yeah, you know what, and I don't know how many guys saw the interview with them. Listening to Daddy-O, I felt like I was listening to Malcolm X, like a revolution. He was really welled up, and he really took his time with those. I mean, it was like, and it was almost as if my limited knowledge of hip hop, they didn't take advantage of that. And actually, I think you've listened to their new album, and actually, it was really well put together. So, I mean, what were your thoughts on their album?
I thought, when you out and I had a listen, and it was far better than expected. I wasn't sure how production wise we were going to sound, but it sounded great to me. You know what I mean? Spot on, some solid, real hip hop that we miss.
Yeah,
it's a much breath of fresh air compared to the monotonous bass heavy trap sounds that that we keep getting out of major label America at the moment. So
yeah.
I forgot actually Daddy-O had done a lot of other productions as well. I
didn't realize, that there were producers outside of that until we mentioned, until you brought it up and stuff. Last Exit to Brooklyn, yeah, Daddy-O. Yeah, it was a shame Prince Paul was not involved, but it was good that at least they didn't hide it. But he is going to be back on the other stuff. But I'm like, I was disappointed I didn't get to see him because the first time I remember De La Soul, me, myself, and I, and he introduces it, and I'm like, you're the guy who introduces De La Soul. But yeah, so I'm glad you guys appreciated that. Yeah, Daddy worked with Morris Day last year. Goodness, I didn't realize. As I said,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, I had no idea about that. Jim Beats, welcome. He produced Top Billin' by Audio 2, which was sampled by. Okay, wow. Yeah, as I said, I'm glad that the group guys reached out and decided to do their live interview with us. So that is great. So Ed Mack has just said, I think I saw yesterday's news that Anita Baker cancelled her Mother's Day concert on Saturday in Atlanta, 30 minutes before she was due to go on.
Sure.
And I know there's going to be a lot of. I mean, of course, you're going to be disappointed if 30 minutes before the show is cancelled. That's what happens. But I think the unfortunate thing about Anita with the situation with Babyface last year, and then the sort of history with Luther Vandross, there's a possibility that people just assume that she was being a diva without really understanding the facts. She could have been ill, could have been maybe a throat of stuff. But this is where communication really has to play an important part. Because if she's got a sore throat or or something health scare, people would understand. But you really have to communicate to people. So in some cases they're saying no, it was 15 minutes. So so I didn't deliberately post it because I didn't want to add to any disgruntledness, any hate of Anita. I'm waiting for her to bring out her explanation. And then finally, before we get into what we're doing today, Stevie, did you hear back from Janet Jackson around her £300 meet and greet fee? Because you put out a post there.
It was between 246 and 440 something pounds meet and greet. I did a little video on IG. I didn't leave it up long.
Oh, you took it down.
It was
Okay.
It was a pop-up video that was always going to get deleted. But I was amused. I think I was just stuck in one night amusing myself, and I posted the video, and it got a little response, and I thought, oh well. So it didn't really stick.
Okay.
I was a bit exasperated by the actual price to meet her. That much money. Does she require that much money? But as someone pointed out, she doesn't set the price. It's the promoters who set the price.
It's the promoters because at the end of the day, they pay her to here's your $2 million to perform in the UK. So she doesn't know how much the tickets are to come in, and she doesn't know the meet and greet. But also, if you think about it, though, if there's 20,000 people in the audience, and 20,000 people want to meet her, she's going to have to stand there and take a picture with 20,000 people. So when you have to set the price high, it's a lot of stuff. So anyway, so we want to welcome you guys. Derek, welcome, Fin City. So what we're and Marco as well. Stevie and I are doing a special episode where we're going to be talking. Sevan Daniel, welcome. We're going to be talking about.
Is joining us. I'm sure she'll have a superb top 10. We're hoping she might come on live actually to tell us her top 10 female albums.
So what we're doing today, we're doing our top 10, our 10 favorite debut albums. But we're going to get you guys a link in, and one by one, like we did just before Christmas or right after Christmas, you guys can come and talk. Give us some, three or four of your favorite female debut albums. It could be female, in solo artist or group. So just think about the debut album. So artists, female artists,
Mother's Day.
For Mother's Day and stuff like that. So I'll put the link in a few minutes and stuff, and you guys can one by one come on in, say hello, and give us some, what albums will make your top 10. But yeah, do you want to start it off, Stevie? What would you put down?
It's tough because I've got a selection of 10 here, which we've not. I think this week we're in no particular order. We're not actually going to go 10 out of 1. We're just going to mention them. Then I've got a bunch that didn't make the 10, but it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah. So they asked the question. So it's only a debut album. So yeah. So it's a debut album. So it isn't like Mary's My Life. That doesn't make it.
Yeah.
If you're doing Mary, it has to be what. If you're doing Whitney, it has to be the Whitney album. You can't be bringing.
Yeah, and as payback for Janet Jackson, she charged so much. I will not be including her debut.
Yeah, so it has to be her debut. So actually, so nobody should try and put Ribbon Nation. That's not her first album or Control. It would be, what's even her first album? Was it Janet's or? But anyway, I'm sure. So yeah, so it would be a very first album. But you can't just put the names of the people, Mark. You've got to put the album, their first album. Okay, so is Layla Hathaway's debut album Layla Hathaway?
Yeah.
Okay, that's probably why. Okay, yeah, and also I can see Mark has been watching you and Sheldon putting 10A. You guys, I don't know how you guys start to group at number 10. You're supposed to be.
Because there's always something you can't leave out. There's always something you can't leave out.
Yeah. Okay. But as I said, after we do our 10, I'm just going to put the link. Can join in and introduce yourselves and take part. But yeah, Stevie, what would make which is one of your?
I'm going to start in the mid '90s, which was a very memorable period for me because I was able to actually go out to nightclubs and bars at the time and hear the records that I was buying on a Saturday morning that were coming out as fresh new releases, and seeing that there was a whole community and groups of other people that were enjoying those records. Like you felt you were part of something, unlike today where you get a new album out now and you're playing it on your phone through Spotify. You're not going out in the evening and enjoying a drink and, hey, have you heard this album? Or you're not. I used to converse in record stores with other people who'd be buying the records as a new release at the time. But this lady before she dropped her album, she had a big single out called "You Used to Love Me" on Bad Boy Records, and we all got very excited about that.
Bad Boy Records. Oh, okay. Yeah, I know who you're
We all
talking
got
about.
very excited in 1995 about that single coming out. It seemed to be getting played in all the underground soul and R&B clubs. It was on the pirate radio stations in my city and probably across the country. And then she gave us a debut album. I'm talking about Miss Faith Evans, of course.
Yeah.
And what an album it was. I mean, it was a mix of mid-tempos, hip-hop soul, as you would say, and a lot of like very melodic ballads. The production was superb. But yeah, this was a great debut album for her. I want a lot of good memories about this album. Yeah, Chucky Thompson, of course.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one of my 10 today. And the mid '90s features a lot in my chart today.
Yeah, and because we're not doing a 10 to because Sheldon's not around, I actually included that in my top 10. And the reason it was that it was to come out with a slow jam. The only other not the only other people, the people that were doing that were someone like Brian McKnight. I know Changing Faces coming up with a mid tempo, a ballad, kind of mid slow jam. Just to launch an album was brave, but the thing about it was the fact that it just stayed. Those are the albums, the sing songs that just really make their way up, and by the time it goes through, then you come up with a second single. It was such an amazing track, and the album definitely loved the album.
Released, there was a track sampling Patrice Rushen, "Falling in Love." Was it You Remind Me? I can't remember, but there's a Patrice Rushen sample. And I wish they'd released it as a single, but there was many other good singles from this. But yeah, I'm sure I'm sure a lot of you have already got this album. So,
yeah, I mean, he says Joseph was saying an awesome album. That bonus track Reasons is also awesome.
Reasons. Yeah.
It's
right at the end there.
Yeah. So I mean, goodness, I forgot about that. I've just mentioned him anyway. So but I also had faith in my top 10, and just because. So guys, as I said, I've just put out the link here. So whoever's brave enough, click on the link. We'll invite you in.
Did you actually go out and buy the album at the time, Nnamdi, or anything?
Yeah. Back in the 90s, I lived in America. And anyone that lives in America knows that Best Buy got in the music business, and they would sell their. Used to go and buy it. It would sell at cost $9 or so, $9.99, whilst in the UK it's probably £15 for a CD. So Best Buy was like $9.99. So the idea was they sell it, you come in, and then you leave with a fridge or TV or microwave or stuff. So they weren't looking to make money. I used to, plus. So I would buy all the new stuff that I loved at Best Buy, but then the back catalog, Columbia House and BMG, 10 for a penny. I don't think they did. Did they do it in the UK? So Columbia House, which is Sony, and BMG.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
They did.
both of them. So you just go order both of them, and then you change your name and keep ordering and stuff like that. So that's why I just bought the whole and had my catalog. But I bought that album. I've just I've just put out the link, guys. So as I said, click on it. You come on and give us your sort of your top 5 sort of singles, our debut albums. That's the link there. So. I've put it up there. So if you just click on it, it'll let you come on in, and I can take part as well. But there's some really good ones, Stevie, that I probably that people are just bringing out there that I didn't remember. But I'm until somebody else joins us in. But another album that I wanted to bring in is Brandy's debut album.
Of course.
I
Yeah, was it 94 that? Was it 94 that? Or was it 93? I can't remember.
No, I think it was like 94.
One of them.
Yeah.
94.
I don't want to go on the live stream, but has some class. It's funny for us. Yeah, anyone that feels brave enough to come on, it'll be great. But yeah, Brandy's debut. No pressure. I said Brandy's debut album. Oh goodness. I think that, think about how young she is and the type of tracks that they recorded, Wanna Be Down, Best Friend, Broken Heart, all those songs, it didn't feel out of place. It didn't feel like Leah's was, it didn't feel like a Leah's debut album. It just felt like it fit her, the video, the whole vibe, sitting up in my room. Oh, I don't think Sitting in My Room was it. That was on the Wait to Exhale soundtrack. But the production was great. The only question I had was when she was doing her follow-up album, she didn't use the same producer. She just went with Rodney to do that whole thing. So, which was a strange choice, because that debut album to me was just, I preferred than her follow-up album. And I think the follow-up album blew up because of some other songs, but it was not as good as the debut. But I thought that was an amazing way of introducing yourself. What are your thoughts on the Brandy's album?
I mean, she's done 3 really good, strong albums, and I think it probably was the first 3 for me. I do wish she'd get back with Kenneth. Is it Kenneth Crouch, the producer?
Yeah, Kenneth Crouch. He did an amazing. I love Rodney, an amazing guest, and he did his second and third album, and then she left him and went for Timbaland to do Aphrodisiac, which I don't understand. But yeah, I just thought that even if you allowed him to just continue with the sound, I don't know. But yeah, that was just a beautiful album. Yeah, there's some good ones here. Aaliyah's. I mean, what did you make of Aaliyah's? What was it? Is it I am age ain't nothing but a number?
Again, I love that period, 93, 94, 95, 96. Great period. A lot of really strong debut albums. But Aaliyah's, I know it's produced by Mr. R. Kelly, but I loved it. I played it so much.
Yeah, I mean the remake of At Your Best.
Here it should be, but I can't. I just, again, great memories of that album. So many great memories, back and forth. The debut single when that dropped, we were all rocking to that one.
Yeah. 1, 2, check it. I didn't. I think Adina Howard. She was. Leon just put about Adina Howard, and because her main single was such a big single, I didn't get the full album.
You'd love the album. You'd really enjoy that album.
Okay.
Lyrically, it's a bit very saucy at the time, but there's some classic. Really classy. Livio Harris, I think he's one of the producers. Some classy stuff on that. Some of the ballads, second half of it is really, really strong. Okay. My Up and Down. It's a good album. That really good album.
It's now. So I just see Escape albums, guys. Escape. I mean, just kick it. I loved it. Understanding, but I don't. At the time, they had some really good singles. The whole album, it didn't excite me as much. I had to be honest. I think I couldn't listen to a whole Escape album. I could listen to some real good singles in there.
It's a short album. I don't
but
think
not the whole album.
an hour. It felt like more of like an EP. It was over that quick. But again, I thought it was a strong debut album.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, as I said, definitely a good. For Real. Remember For Real, the girls?
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't play that album a lot. Mainly went for the singles. You don't wanna, and then there was the other one as well. I think it was the singles that I played a lot. Didn't so much. There was a couple of really classy tracks on that album that I did play. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to put the comments as they come in. We're going to be able to read them, but
I can see them.
Stevie is a massive Jodie Watley fan. So, what did you make of Jodie's debut album?
It's here. I've got it in my. There it is. It's one of my all-time favorite albums. I thought it was at the time, production-wise, a very groundbreaking album. You've got songs wrote by Gardner Cole on here. You've got Andre Simone doing some production. It's a very dance-orientated album. There's a lot of singles from it. I'm looking at all this. Looking for a New Love was released. Still a Thrill. Some Kind of Lover. Don't You Want Me. Most of All. Even George Michael has a duet on this album.
Okay.
But this is one of my all-time favorite albums. Very high up there. Very high. Because for me, she started it off.
Yeah. I mean, it's okay. So another one that makes my list, Kevin just mentioned it, and that would be Mary J's "What's the 411." And as we had
anyone's list, that wouldn't it? Really?
Yeah, but you know what we had was we had a lot of the influence of Eddie F and Kenny Green, with Dave Hall, the whole. Oh, okay. We've got somebody who has joined in. Let's see, guys. I put the link up there. Oh, Miss Savio, welcome this evening. How are you?
Let us down. Good evening.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
We're doing well. In North America, it is Mother's Sunday, so we're doing a special Mothering Sunday editions. Yes. So.
Is there a delay there with your connection? Oh, she's gone.
Oh, she disappeared. Oh, okay. Hopefully she'll come back. Okay, she's back here. Let's just see. Can you see and hear us?
I can, but I think there's a bit of a delay on my YouTube.
That's better.
Oh.
That is. So.
I'm American and French. Sorry. Can you hear me? Okay, I'm going to try this one. Okay, I've switched off one screen. That should work now. Can you hear me?
Yes, clearly now.
Oh, well, nice to see you again.
Yes.
Nice to see
I
you.
see you all the time. So yeah, that was a challenging one because I don't really listen to female. I don't have that many CDs, but I did go to my CD room and I found like 10 albums, and not all of them have a number 2 album, i.e., some albums are just like a one album wonder, and that's it. So on the list, I have TLC. There's no specific order.
No, that's fine.
Okay, so I've got TLC. Ooh, on the TLC tip. It's not my favorite. I do prefer the second album. But it's still a strong one. Mary J Blige was the 411.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I do prefer My Life.
No, I don't. We want to talk about the debut. Okay, good.
Yeah, but it's still a good album. But the second album definitely to me is much. That's the other one. Mona Lisa.
Oh yes.
Yeah, she had a very good album, but that was her only album. Then she disappeared. But I like that one. I listened to it.
I forgot about that actually, but that was a really good album.
Yeah,
I played that a lot back then.
Yeah, and she had this duet with Lil Kim as well, which was really good. She had Time to Shine. She had Can't Be Wasting My Time. She did a duet with the Lost Boys as well, Renee. There was a Renee remix, and no, she has a great voice, but I think she just came when at a time that everybody was great, unfortunately. Then there's that other group that's kind of obscure, but I like them. 7669.
Oh, yeah, forgot about them. Yeah.
The Bad Block. A very good album as well. So that one I listened to a lot, but I think they have a couple of videos, but I was too
Do you
young.
remember that, Nnamdi? 7669, East from a Bad Block.
No.
Very naughty, very naughty bunch of ladies they were, young ladies.
Well, I think the lyrics were okay. I mean, compared to
So High, that was one of the tracks that I liked on the album.
Yeah, So High was good. There was Stick Away as well. And I've forgotten the other one, but yeah, they've got. At that time, I just remember the numbers of tracks because we had CDs and you say, I want number 5 or number 7. There's Money Fat that I really liked as well. Tony Braxton.
Yeah.
The first album. I liked 7 Whole Days.
Yeah, that was...
And another love song. Then something obscure as well. Angie and Debbie Winans. It was very religious, but I really liked it. I really liked their album.
Gospel, the gospel duo. They did did some nice albums back then.
Yeah. And actually the Winans had an album as well, produced by Kelly Partley, and it was really good too. Then who else do I have? Oh, so my top 3. Sorry, I do have a top 3. There's Davina. Who remembers her?
Yes.
She sang so good with Raekwon.
I haven't played that album in a long time. Long time since I played that album.
Oh wow! I mean, there's one song called "After the Rain." It's a bit long, it's a bit mellow, but I love it. I think I've listened to it like 1,000 times. And there's Johnny, one of my favorite groups as well.
What a great album that was!
Yeah, the second one is great too. I don't know which one I prefer, but it's just great from the beginning to the end. And then the very obscure one is Trellini. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Oh yes, Trellini.
Yeah,
she was on Luke Records.
She was.
Okay,
but the content was proper, and she had a duet with Dino from H-Town.
Yes.
But the whole album, I loved it.
That's a great pick. That really is. I've noticed when you drop us your top 10s, you always dig deep with the album cuts.
But the thing is, because I didn't enjoy I didn't have access at the time to promotions. I didn't know what came out as a single. I couldn't see any videos, so I just took what you go to the record store, you listen, you like, take it, and you don't know what's famous or what's not famous. You just what you like. So that's really the reason why I was exposed to things that didn't really have visibility. But then did I mention Faith? I love Faith, but I was not crazy about her album, but I still mentioned her because I like her. I love her voice. I love all the background vocals she's done for Usher and Mary J Blige and everything. And but the album itself, I've listened to it. I didn't buy it. I think sorry, I forgot one. I don't know if that can make it in that in this top 10. Erykah Badu. Well, that's not really R&B. That's not really New Jack. But
it was a female debut. I mean, of course, we're not talking about Alana Morissette, but she was, they talk about what they call that neo soul and stuff. But it was a debut. It was a beautiful debut album. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So that's it for me.
Do you remember her, Joya?
Oh yeah, I remember. She used to make me think of T-balls, and but I listened to it and didn't buy it.
That's a good album, that It's a really good album.
I'll check again. Is it available online?
No, it's a good album. I thought you might remember that because you do.
I remember it. I remember listening to it and being like,
deep.
yeah, no, I that was not for me. But maybe I should have, listened to it closer. I don't know. But I remember when it came out, and the big thing is that she used to look. I mean, the look was very T-Boz look. So I remember that. But no. And and Vogue. I like En Vogue, but I've not really listened to their first album. I don't know what it's like. I know they're very strong vocally and everything, but I've not really. I like the song "Runaway Love."
Yeah, that was on the EP. It wasn't on their debut album. It was on the EP.
Yeah, that was
before the I think the sophomore album, the third album or something like that.
That was a third album. I think that came after "Don't Let Go." I think.
I remember being really disappointed with their second album. I don't know why. I mean, I like it a lot better now.
Yeah,
I was a bit disappointed with the second album. I shouldn't have been because it's got some great stuff on it.
I think at the time the competition was so crazy that if you were average, you were just bad, And now, just very grateful to get anything middle of the road,
Yeah, we were spoiled. We were so spoiled back then. You compared to today.
Yeah, definitely. And I was 100% into Michael Jackson, and obviously he was alive, and I remember me liking Sting and the Police, but not caring that much, or liking the Beatles and not caring that much. And now I just listen to them day in day out because there's not much happening anymore. I love them. If you compare with Michael Jackson, obviously it's different, and Stevie Wonder, and so that's my top 13.
Wow.
Okay, well, definitely appreciate you being brave enough to come on board and stuff. And we're still opening it up for everyone else. I'm going to post the link, and so you guys can feel brave enough to join in and be able to give us your.
Mrs. Swabion, always good to see you. Enjoy your contributions, and
thank you. It's nice to see you on Sunday night.
Yeah, so
we are trying to work and I'm trying to focus, and then I'm typing here and there, and
we appreciate it.
It's great, and I love the podcasts and all the content that you post, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so ignorant. Anything that happened in the late 80s, early 90s, I was just not aware of their existence, and it's a big eye opener as far as I'm concerned. Now I've got loads of music to listen to. Thanks to you, I've discovered that song "Don't Be Cruel." I had to see the cover, but I had never listened to it. And there are some classics that I'd never bothered listening to, like the Guys' music. But now I've listened to it. But I have to say I'm more midnight in terms of tastes. I'm more sensitive to the sounds of the mid-90s than the early 90s, late 80s.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. Yeah. So I'm going to disappear now.
Okay.
But I'll keep on listening and making some comments.
Please do.
Well, make sure you come back soon, Mrs. Swabion, and happy Mother's Day as well.
Anytime. Oh, when is it?
No, it's in America. It's today in America.
Oh, okay. It's a bit later in France, but I'll take it. Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right, then. Bye.
Bye-bye.
And Mac, you got your camera on?
Oh, I have to turn my camera on to speak. Come on.
If you don't want to, that's fine.
We can hear you anyway.
Yeah. Okay. I'm nervous enough just coming up here to speak. So.
Don't worry.
But it's an honor to be up here with you two guys. I watch you guys every week, and I also look forward to the polls during the week as well. So it's an honor to be up here with both of you guys.
Yeah, appreciate it. I mean, so what 10 songs make your top debut albums for female, either solo or group?
Okay. You want me to go from 10 to 1 or
in any order you feel like, yeah.
Okay. When I did my list, why I did the A and B for 10, I just thought it was very important for me to acknowledge Layla Ali's album. I'm sorry, not Layla Ali, Layla Hathaway's album. It had so many great songs on it, and I don't think from beginning to maybe now, she don't get the recognition that she deserves. So that's why I had to get her in my top 10.
Okay.
Great debut. Great debut, that.
Yeah. The other ones I have is Erykah Badu's Baduism album.
I mean, that was
That
good,
debut
and
album was
especially
great.
because it was different than what was happening out there at the time, and that was really good.
Yes.
That yeah.
Yes. Also, I have In Vogue. I had them at number 8. The
Yeah.
Born to Sing album.
Man, yeah, especially when they
7
came out
T.O.
with Go ahead. Go ahead, number 7.
Have we lost him?
Are you there? Mark, are you there?
You muted it.
No. Are you still there?
He's gone.
No, well, yeah, he's still here, but doesn't seem to. Unless he switched off
Maybe
his.
maybe he's had a knock at the door or something.
Yeah, switched off his audio. Mark, are you still there? Okay. So hopefully he's joined. Okay, he's come back. He's come back. Yeah. Okay. Are you back?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you now. Okay.
Okay. Sorry about that. I'll be quick because I don't know what happened or if it'll happen again. But number 6, I have Monica, Miss Thing.
Okay.
5, Tony Braxton.
Yeah.
4, Brandy. 3, SWV. It's About Time. Number 2, I have Lauryn Hill, the Miss Education of Lauryn Hill.
Yeah.
And number 1, I have Mary J Blige. What's the 411?
Yeah.
Very strong list. Very strong list.
Definitely good, strong list. Hopefully next time you can feel a lot more brave now that you've done this to come on with the camera on, so you can be seen by the adoring fans and stuff.
Yes,
definitely appreciate.
And just quickly,
yeah,
and just quickly, a couple that may not get mentioned that I had in my honorable mentions. I have Brownstone, From the Bottom Up.
Great album.
Shantae Moore's Precious.
Oh, amazing.
and Jill Scott's Who was Jill Scott.
Brilliant album.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you guys. That's it.
I appreciate you.
All right. Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, there's some really good lists. So whoever's feel brave enough to come on.
So many that not even considered tonight. You know what I mean? Not even.
Yeah. I mean, Mark, I actually had Queen Pin My Melody down because I actually enjoyed that album.
Oh yeah, that was superb. That.
Yeah, that was a good one for me because it was. I love the tracks she had with Chico. Then she had with Eric as well. Yeah, it was definitely I kept playing that on and on and on.
I'm just thinking, there's a lot of. We're talking about a lot of strong debut albums here. Was there any shot off the top of my head? Was there any that was not very good? I remember getting and thinking, there's only 1 or 2 tracks on this. And it's a very poor album. It just shows you how strong a lot of these albums were.
Yeah,
I'm sure. I think with any major label, they spent all the money promoting a brand new album by somebody, and it just wasn't very good. Yeah, here's one. It might be controversial. Maya. I wasn't impressed with Maya's debut album. Remember Maya?
Yeah, guys. Do you know any debut albums? Do you know any debut albums that weren't as good? Maybe the second and third album really were different, but that debut album.
Monica's obviously second. I wasn't impressed with Monica's second album either. Loved the first album, but that second one, again, I thought I was disappointed.
Yeah. I mean, these guys have put in now. Kevin, we didn't put Sade because because she's part of a, when we did our female vocalist, she would always be there. But when we did a group, because she's part of the band and stuff, we've got Last Exit to Brooklyn put down the girls. Okay. The Good Girls, Alison Williams, Michelle E, Ex-Girlfriend, SWV, and Mary J Blige.
All top choices.
Yes.
Jasmine Guy was, I enjoyed that album, but there was a few skips on that album, but I did enjoy it a lot. Someone's just mentioned one that was it in my list? Hold on. Oh, this was a big one for me. Someone just mentioned it. Adriana Evans. When you're talking about neo soul, this is the lady that seems to gets forgotten because people mention Purdue and India Irie and Jill Scott, but this album, I think, it's better than them all. This album's better than them all. Such a great album. 1998, I think it was. No, 97. I stand corrected. If you've not heard this album before, go out and buy a copy of this. From start to, there's no skips on this album. No skips. Great album, that.
So Phil was saying that she Truth Hurt, her debut album after Addicted.
What more? Yeah, I'd agree with that. There was some big, there's a couple of big singles. There was a DJ Quick track that was really good on it. But yeah, there was some skippers on that one as well. Greg C says McKay. I remember buying that. I never played it. It's somewhere in my collection, but I've never played that album. Getting a lot of messages tonight, Nnamdi.
Yeah. Tisha Campbell, she had. I think the problem with Tisha Campbell was
good album.
It was a really good album, but she was such a good actress and dancer that it was hard to take that part of her seriously. It's like Jasmine Guy. When Jasmine Guy came out with an album, Whitley from Different World, and it's hard to separate the two. And I think when I don't know how Paula Abdul wasn't an actor. She was a dancer, or like J-Lo. She would make able to make that transition. But when you're an actor making that transition into music, I think sometimes it just became hard as well. Fantasia, I don't know. She had one or two big hits, but I don't think they could really make a big recording artist out of her. The same way with Jennifer Hudson, having
that debut was big. Come off, what was it, American Idol or whatever
American
it was at the
Idol.
time?
Yeah.
First out so well. I think she put out another 2 or 3 albums after that on. Was it J? Was she signed to J Records or something?
I believe she was.
Through RCA, but that album's got some good stuff on it.
Shanice.
Paula Abdul. Wow. Shanice.
Yeah. As I said, Paula Abdul, Straight Up and all that stuff. Shanice. I think. Does anyone mention Tracy Spencer? Now, because I didn't listen to the album at the time because I think she was big in America. Williams actually was a good debut album. That blew up out and when that came out.
Bit of some syrupy sleeping bag stuff on the old Vanessa Williams debut album as well. And I'm like, oh no. No, there was some good club tracks on it though.
I had Cut Close, Surrender. That was just
what an album this. I keep thinking they were a duo, but there was 3 of them. I keep forgetting there was actually 3 of them in the group. That is there's no skips on this album either.
No.
Oh.
And Keith
followed up with another album a few years later as well.
Yeah, if you guys want to listen to my 2-hour interview with Tabitha Duncan from Cut Close, and she talks about why they were in the studio with Missy Elliott and the Neptunes making this follow-up album, but at the same time, Keith Sweat was trying to replace her, and at auditions on radio saying, "We're looking for a new member of Cut Close," and she was driving and she heard it, and so Yeah, so it wasn't a good thing, and they,
Can somebody name me a better album in 1995 than this? I'm trying to think. This come out. Faith Evans was 1995. Monica's debut album was 1995 as well. What a year!
Yeah.
But
yeah,
that is a strong album for 1995.
and I think they had some industry shenanigans because their album should have been platinum at least, but it just said it's stuck at gold. So I don't know what they Missy Elliott, I she had some singles, but I don't know. Were you ever big into Missy as a solo artist? I mean,
First album I did play a bit, but like you say, some of the singles actually irritated me. I think there was better album tracks, but I did.
Yeah.
I had to be in the mood for a first album because it was like Timbaland's experimental sound, which I did enjoy it, but I had to be in the mood for that album. It's quite a deep, boom, boom, bass heavy album. Isn't it? It's like,
I like the fact that the also mentioned Lisa Stanfield.
Oh,
and the fact that she's getting real.
Oh,
the fact that she's getting.
It's one of my all-time favorite albums now.
Yeah.
It's one of my all-time favorite albums.
That was a big international album. I mean, I remember being in Nigeria, and okay, have you heard of? I've never heard of this. Assorted.
You'd love that.
Assorted Palavos.
You'd love that album. Assorted flavors.
Flavors. Okay, flavors. Goodness gracious.
You were signed to Sony Columbia, Dave Jam Hall production.
Are you kidding me?
Four of them. You'd really enjoy that album, Nnamdi.
Wow.
You'd really enjoy that. I'll have to dig it out for you somewhere at some point.
And I think the Brat. I actually bought Funkified. I thought that was better than Escape. I preferred their album. And I've been trying to get Dave Hall since day one. Dave doesn't do interviews and stuff. I need to get Eddie to try and convince him, but he doesn't do any interviews. But yeah, because he's probably one of the unsung producers of the 90s. If you think about how far back he goes to, 90s Girl, that was Black Girl.
Yes.
Yeah, there was some. A lot of people don't recognize Abstract, and at the time, they didn't get the promotion, but that album really had some real great stuff.
Well, you could argue they had two debuts, didn't they? The debuted as Abstract, and then 4 years later they debuted as Eminem.
Yeah.
Minus one member. But both albums are very strong. Both albums got some great stuff on it. I played them albums so much back then.
What about Jade? Did you really into the? I mean, I know they had the "Don't Walk Away," but I played
the singles from the first album a lot, but I didn't play the album much. I could do with going back and re-investigating the album again and just reminding me of what it actually sounds like, because I couldn't tell you what it sounds. And all the singles from it as an album, it didn't get in my CD player a lot. I don't know why. Maybe I just didn't buy it. I think I bought it years later after all the singles. I played the album after. I played that a lot, the Sophomore album, which I enjoyed a lot, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I love the strategy. Last Exit Brooklyn was saying they had the great cover strategy for number one. And Nothing Nice. Remember that group? There were so many female groups. Nothing Nice. That good one.
I mean, Jive Records at the time in the UK they really did promote Nothing Nice. Several singles. I remember seeing the album. The album was on double vinyl. It was on CD. It was in all the shops at the time. You couldn't miss it. If you was buying R&B at the time, you probably did buy that Nothing Nice album. Sweet and Low. Yeah, there was 2 tracks on that. Again, it's one of those albums, very hit and miss for me. Old school flavor, but there was a couple of really good tracks on it. Sweet and Low. Directified. Was it them, or am I getting mixed up with 3 times? There was this track called Directified. I'm sure it was on that Sweet and Low album. Just remind.
No one has mentioned Total and their debut album.
I figured
because
you have that in your list.
yeah, it's just because they were so different, because they had that rough, that sort of, the way Puffy just brought them out, black leather and stuff. But I think Pam's vocals were amazing, very different, and the same. And then you had Keisha and Pam, but I'm sorry, Keisha and Kima, but Pam's vocals and her energy on stage. So I just I loved them. Chain Faces, we didn't mention them because they just had consistency. Loved the fact that they took advantage of R. Kelly's genius and just came out with those slow jams and.
I played this album. I never, I used to play this album to death. Even like the center of my CDs is worn out. Taking it out. I need to find a new center of it. It's just worn to death. I've got an album for you. This is for the real collectors. This, I don't know if anyone remembers this, but I pulled it out from 1989 UK. She was called Deluxe Delors Springer, a very collectible UK street soul album that I played a lot of the time. I'll be honest, she didn't have the best voice, but the production at the time was quite groundbreaking for UK. Had a real UK street soul feel to it. Does anybody remember? Did anybody check them out? Delors, the Deluxe. It's an expensive album. They should get the vinyl cheap. But CD, you're talking £50 upwards.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Very good album, this. I know a lot of street soul collectors love that album. Very collectible. Yeah.
Tasman Archer. I didn't know.
Not for me, I'll be honest. There's one that's definitely.
Yeah. Never heard it. What about was this Shala Amma?
Shola Amma, yeah.
Yeah, Shala Amma. Yeah, my brother was into her. Mariah's first album.
Hold on a minute. She's saying, does Tasman Archer count? Well, it does because he had a date. But I'm saying that I don't think I was into it, but it does count. She was a female artist. It was like, can you remember the sound of Nnamdi? It was like, was it Des'ree style? A bit of Des'ree, bit of singer-songwriter type stuff. Sorry, mate, I interrupted you there.
No. Mind Over Matter was saying, do you remember Denny Haynes?
Denny Hines, yes, I do. She had an album out on Mushroom. It was she's an Australian artist. She had an album out on Mushroom Records. There was some nice stuff on that album. Some good big, there's a couple of big singles that got played in the clubs at the time as well in the late 90s.
Oh yeah,
Why are you reminding us here? Eternal. How could we forget Eternal? Oh my gosh!
Oh yeah,
I forgot Eternal. That's terrible. I see their albums in charity shops every week.
That's probably why. Who remembers Shade from Motown?
Shade, Motown. Yes, one album.
Yeah, and the big issue they had. This was.
Yeah, it was hit and miss, that album.
Yeah, it was during the turmoil of Andre Harrell at Motown. There was, I think G Wiz was, Tanya was saying that G Wiz was the A&R of the group and stuff. Billy, Tanya Blunt. I can't remember Tanya Blunt. I mean, there was
Tanya Blount. Tanya Blount. It was BLOUNT. Her album.
Okay.
I think it Polydor or Parlophone, the label, but there was some Untouchables remixes of one of her tracks that did well as a single. Deluxe was a tie-in. He produced a lot of street soul at the time in the UK. I don't know what he's doing now.
Did you get into Black Girl? Because I think the 90s that Teddy did the extended remix for. I'm
amazed what happened after that album? They just disappeared. It was like they made so much noise with them singles and then they just went, didn't they?
Yeah, I need to remember what record label they were on, but that if you don't, that was when labels were folding and stuff. Someone like Deborah Cox was fortunate to be on a label that was ready to support her, but she has some big hits as well. Sentimental, I think.
So what, in that pile of 10, what is your all-time? Let's nail you to the cross here, Nnamdi. What's your all-time favorite female album then?
Debut album.
What's your
I
very favorite?
I would have to go with from my 10. It would have been Born to Sing and Vogue. I think
Really?
it was probably the memory of that being one of my first CDs that I was able to buy with my own money, because I had a portable CD player, and that was one of the first ones. So I can still remember listening to it, and when I see the album cover, it just evokes memory. But the fact that it was something very different, how they harmonize, and it wasn't until Boys to Men later on that you started to see that stuff happen. But it was just, it just felt really powerful just to have 4 female singers, not just the one singer and then everyone who follows at the back. It was the fact that all 4 of them. So for me, that's still, it's a disappointment how the money situation wasn't correct for them, that Dawn and Maxi had to leave, and especially when they were about to leave their 3rd album. But they, at the time, they could have been, bigger than anyone else. But yeah, for me, that's Born to Sing. When I think of a debut album, I just remember that, yeah. And I've just listened to it recently, and it still brings chills.
I need to go back and listen to that.
Yeah, I just listened to it just a few days ago as I was prepping for this. Jeremy's mentioned Destiny's Child. Destiny's Child
debut album has good stuff on it.
Yeah, but I think I don't. So I would say with the community, Beyonce and Destiny's Child don't seem to get a lot of love. I don't know if Beyonce is because Beyonce is so big, but people don't seem to rate Destiny's Child or Beyonce in this. When we're doing our stuff, it's so, and I don't know why. I actually did prefer Destiny's Child and Beyonce's first 3 albums. But after she did, after her 3rd album, solo album, I sort of lost. I just felt like she just did. I just kind of took a break from her. Dangerously in Love, I'm Sasha First. I thought that really R&B, and I love the Destiny's Child. People don't seem to like her. Yeah. So but people said Destiny's Child wasn't great. There's B1. Yep. Jodie Watley's debut album, Stevie's all-time favorite. So she's been mentioned.
No, I'm tied between 2 albums, Nnamdi. My all-time favorite. That's one of them. Can you guess what the other one is?
I would think it's Madonna.
Yeah, there it is. That's my all-time favorite female album, Madonna, the first album. Oh, what an album this was. Borderline, Lucky Star, Burning Up, Holiday, Physical Attraction, Everybody. Produced by, it had production from Jelly Bean, Reggie Griffin of M2 fame. Oh, I love this album. I just love this album.
The thing about, I would, most people would say that Madonna's first 3 albums, she was like how people look at Michael Jackson and say, yeah, we all, Madonna was, she was international. I was in Nigeria when that came out, and everyone loved Madonna. So, subsequently after she did, was it Sex Book or Erotica stuff? Things changed, but when she albums, she was, people, she crossed over a great deal.
Well, who run up to, I'd say, up to like a Prayer, the fourth album. That was a huge. It was like a Prince run. It was like a Michael Jackson run.
Yeah.
After the other hit single, after hit single.
Yeah.
And then she did the erotica thing. She did the Sex Book thing, and it all kind of.
Yeah, she just kind of lost the big globals kind of stuff. So I like a Prayer. Yeah, the whole love that. Who's that girl? Yeah. Let me see. I'm just seeing anyone else.
Kate Bush. Does that album have the Hounds. No, it wouldn't have the Hounds of Love on it, would it? So cross section. My favorite album is Ariel by Kate Bush. I don't know what was on. I don't have it. The only album I've got by Kate Bush is the one with Hounds of Love on. I don't know if it was that album. Is that the album with Mish Babushka on? Babushka? I can't remember.
Would Spice Girls enter your top 10 at all?
It's in my 50p charity shop selection. That's where it is. That's where it belongs.
Yeah.
In my charity, when I go charity shopping and I get myself a 50p CD, I'll pick up a Spice Girls 50p CD in good condition.
Yeah. I'm just thinking. I mean, I'm just wondering if there's I mean, there were so many. You know, they just had All Saints. Okay, Derek said All Saints. Michelle E.
I hated All Saints. You know, I hated them at the time, but now, again, it's a great 50p purchase in a charity shop. The All Saints, because you'll see all the All Saints albums in the charity shops. Don't you know? 50p.
Does anyone think? What did anyone think about Moke and Steph? So they came out with Sex in the Rain, but they came out with He's Mine. And the thing about that, it was such a and you know, I guess listen, if you watched when I interviewed Moke and Steph, they were big into trying to sell their book, but they really did go into details about they wrote 95% of their album, and they actually wrote She's Mine. People didn't get it cleared, and they had issues with that on that track. But what I loved about what the ladies said in the interview was the fact that when they were standing up for themselves to make sure they got the business in order, they were looked at as unreasonable and and difficult. And they're like, oh, but if a man does it, you're like, okay, they're business savvy. But if a woman does it, so yeah. Yes, Mickey Howard. You know, somebody mentioned our Dear Sister debut album.
That's great. Some great stuff on that album.
Yeah.
Took a long time to come out, but and quite right, it's on. You know, it's on available for streaming now with all the extra stuff. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah. We also had Mickey Howard. Gina. You know, the problem with Gina Thompson. Oh goodness, that was a hard interview with Gina Thompson because she had the whole album ready and then the label folded just before they could push the second single. Yeah. Tara Kemp, was she the one that did Distant Lover?
No, she did Hold You Tight. Just Wanna Hold You Tight.
Okay. So Kidley said
that's a big single.
Joyce
big
Sims.
Singles.
Joyce
Sims, of course. Late Joyce Sims,
yes.
Bless her.
I interviewed Joyce Sims a month before she passed away.
Wow.
Yeah. And you know and you know, just growing up as a kid and listening to Come Into My Life was magical. So when I saw her on Legged an interview and she gave it to me, and it was to listen that this is the woman who sang that song, You Are My All in All and stuff. I mean, and she's just watching her playing the piano, singing, just felt surreal just to see, you know, as a kid watching, because, you know, just seeing a woman playing the piano and singing, and just, we just don't do that. Terry and Monica, you know, Terry Robinson was the sort of the voice of Uptown. She wrote most of the tracks and did all the background. Monica Payne is now an A&R and an executive. Were they not part of the girls? Terry and Monica? Yes, yeah, I think they were. Yes.
We have to get their story. You know, we have to get their story.
I've been trying to get in touch with her to try and get her on the show, but you know, but I'll try and do that. Try and get her on. Joe, I'll try and get Terry on to.
Jackie Graham from the UK, of course, worked a lot with Derek Bramble. Kev the Chef, yes, definitely. She's some brilliant. Her debut album's got some great stuff on it. She did the original Heaven Knows as well that Layla Hathaway went on to do a cover version. And I had quite a big hit with, actually. Shello. Oh, Derek Maloney mentioned Shello, the West Coast home girl. Oh, I love that Shello. I'll tell you what, I'm glad you're all here tonight because there's so much I've forgot. There's so much you remind us about this evening. This is the beauty of having a live audience. Is just like, you know, they come up and remind you about stuff, Nnamdi, that, you know.
Yeah, of some things you couldn't remember. Yeah, so Joyce Sims, she was on the same label as the last Mantronic, so they did some production on her stuff, but she got her publishing. She read the book before she signed. Black 702 actually had a nice debut album. Black,
Bring It Home to Me
fine.
was on the soundtrack. They had quite a soundtrack. We Bring It Home to Me. The debut single was 808. It had like that Miami bass 808 bum sound to it. But yeah, there's some nice stuff on that album. Who else we got?
Yes, James mentioned Pebbles. Yeah, James, I've reached out to her, but she said she's not ready right now. But hopefully, I actually reached out to Blue Control at the same time back in the pandemic time, and her team says she's not doing. Sherelle, Three Little Women,
3LW,
3LW, yeah.
Play, bum bum, bum bum. Play's gonna play. Hey, she had a big. It was the 3LW. They got in a bit of a tiff with Taylor Swift over a sample. 3LW. I'm sure that Taylor Swift apparently used some sort of melody from Play's Gonna Play, and they had, they got her. I don't know whether she paid up or not. I can't remember. Sherelle, of course, Sherelle.
I'm just thinking. I mean, new choice from the Bay Area. I didn't hear.
Oh, they were. I remember late. It was 87, 88. That came and went very quickly. All that came and went very quickly. New choice. 4 girls.
Yeah.
That is really digging deep. That, it's like. In fact, they were produced, but I'm not sure they had production from who's the guy who did Club Novu? Jay King. Forgot his name.
King.
Yeah, Jay King had something to do with New Choice, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, no, well, it wouldn't surprise me if they're out in the Bay Area. Yeah, I mean, next week's guys, be prepared. Next Sunday is we're doing our SWV top 10. And so that would definitely be a really interesting show because
how strong is this album for you? Is this in your top 10? Nnamdi, is this in your top 10?
Yeah, no, it is, and I would say the reason why it would be in the top 10 is because just like Aaron did with Guy, I think Coco did it with SWV. That sort of powerful lead, church vocals, and then with the music. I think that whole new Jill swing. I think they ushered in that. They ushered in that type of a vibe where you have a powerful lead singer and you have others behind. So yeah, so I think they changed the game in that 90s and stuff. But I was always sad that Coco and Taj didn't get to do big vocals on that. But yeah, so next week, definitely. Tracy Chapman, but did she just come out with the one album?
No, she did 2. She come out with quite a few albums in Nnamdi, but her first album had Fast Car on it, which worldwide
blew up, and so yeah.
No,
when I asked people, I said, "Would you prefer your debut album, your second album, to be bigger than the first?" And most artists would say they prefer the debut album to go up because they were paid on the back end, and then they can start making money off the second. But I think with someone like Tracy, because the first album blew up, it's almost as if you come out with a thriller, how do you recover from that? Anything else, just pay attention. So I think I'd want to have one platinum album, then my second can go 10 million, then I can settle back with the third album or something like that.
Misha Paris, that was in my top 10 as well. So good. Debut album for Island Records. Probably the best female singer the UK has ever produced. Battle me on that one. Find me a better singer in the UK The Misha Paris, somebody try and find it, because I can't. I'm struggling. The Misha Paris.
Well, did
Hey, you're thinking about it now. Come on, Nnamdi. Come and test me,
thinking
man.
about the I can't remember her name now, from Soul to Soul.
Karen Wheeler.
Karen Wheeler.
She's up there.
Okay.
She's up there. Misha Paris. No. Still Misha Paris for me.
Okay. Desiree. Okay. So it's a pity that not many. Only two of you were brave enough to come on to give us a rundown and stuff like that. We do have.
Sheldon is with his beloved mother this evening on Mother's Day in America, and he never gave us his top 10 troops. So hopefully next week, before we start our SWV episode, he finally gives us his top 10 troop. We will see that. Hopefully he'll be with us next week.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. If as I said, just anyone wants to be brave just to come on just before we wrap up today. Definitely this has been one of those episodes where we've been able to reminisce on artists that we couldn't remember, that we'd forgotten about. Close to Mika's Beverly Knights. Yeah.
I like it, Beverly. Good.
Shirley Bassey.
Oh, yeah. Well, hey, why not? You know,
yeah.
Another good charity shop filler is Shirley Bassey.
Yeah. No, so Emma, Sade is British, definitely. The thing is that so as a vocalist, definitely she's in a lane of her own. Definitely in a lane.
One of my all-time favorite groups debut is Ex-Girlfriend, X Marks the Spot.
Yeah,
91. I love this album so much.
I think one of the things I had to admit for the girls is that they were the female version of Troop. Would you say that when it came to the dancing?
I see why you mentioned that. Yeah.
Because I mean, how many girl groups were doing what they were doing? The backflips, the jumping around, working extra hard.
Not,
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I did have what's her name again? Stacey Francis from the group.
You did,
but we're trying to get Julia from the group to come and talk about the music mainly, because Stacey had a big life outside of the group. So I think it was the ex-girlfriend stuff was sort of crammed. But I think Julia was part of the group beginning, and we'll get on the music. I still have the ex-girlfriend on cassette. Still have those on cassette. Five Star are good, but the thing is, there were 3 sisters and 2 brothers, so they technically won't count. But I actually had Doris Person from 5 Star on, and so so that was great.
That should give me an idea for another top 10. That, Nnamdi.
Okay.
Our favorite top 10 family artist releases.
Yeah. So you could get the Jodeci, or you can get you can get siblings in there.
The Osmonds, get the old Osmonds.
The Osmonds. If anyone loves 5 Star, please check out the interview with Doris Person from 5 Star. Anyone else just before we finish up? I'm just thinking female. In fact, the Barge. Yeah, that's a good one to go through. After 7, yes, there are 2 others, and after 7, let me check. I want to go through. People have mentioned Monifa, because she also had a very distinct voice when she came out. For me, I need to go through my my list of female guests to see if there are people we hadn't mentioned. Shantae Savage, any thoughts about her debut album?
I would say it was the second album really that took off for her. The first one, very patchy, I thought. I need to go back to her first one, but I think is it a 96 album? Very strong. A second album was very, very strong.
No one has mentioned Angie Stone.
Wow, that's terrible. How have we not mentioned Angie Stone?
I don't.
The infamous Angie Stone album, Nnamdi, where she just got out of bed.
If you guys, if you want to.
How could you ask me that? Why are you asking me that question? Everybody knows the answer to that question, Nnamdi.
So I interviewed Angie Stone, and I think that maybe the team didn't remember to tell her that there was an interview going on. She was just laying in bed, almost as if, like, hey, what's going on? And then she was moving around.
I don't think she realized she was in an interview, did she? Why are you asking me that?
I think, sometimes, I'm doing this stuff and I'm sitting there thinking, okay, but Andy, this is going out to, thousands of people. And it's like, yeah, I'll just lay down in bed, move around. And so that was a funny one. I'm just going through my list. Jackie, Shanice.
We're
Brownstone
tonight.
Yeah, Brownstone. I think somebody's mentioned Lisa Fisher. Definitely a good call. I've never had a couple of girls that must be going back. Sybil, remember Sybil? She had she did those. And then did we ever mention the Good Girls?
Yes, we did tonight. Yeah,
the Good Girls. Yeah, and I think that is Gina. Yeah, JJ Fad. Well, they were midway hip hop group, but
no, they did a bit of. There was some vocals in. There's a bit of a crossover going on with JJ Fad.
Yeah.
Just Be Good to Me was one of their crossover tracks.
Yeah, and but
Allure.
yeah.
Oh, we forgot about Allure. Mrs. Swavion reminds us about Allure here.
Yeah, please look at the interview with them. Just the shame of the music industry again affected them. But yeah, I mean, as I said, I think one of the things that you guys might recognize is that getting female guests on the show is probably one of the hardest because it seems if those who industry are constantly working so that they're not ready to tell, or you have others who who got married rich, got somebody, and so they've left it all there, like they're not bothered. So getting female guests on is time. I just wanted to just go after females to be able to hear their story and just to see their experience is completely different than their male counterpart. They had to work extra hard with their image, managing their business and keeping themselves safe. So definitely always love hearing the females come and tell their story. But yeah, Yo-Yo, MC Light. Hopefully, I probably will get MC Light, as well as Mary to be able to hear them share their story backstage and stuff like that. Jaguar Wright. No, I'll get into too much trouble if I try to interview Jaguar Wright. I'll lose half my potential guests and Jaguar Wright she's not talking about music, she's talking about drama, and that's the one thing I wanted to separate from what I did.
Did it. Did it.
Yeah. So yeah, Angie Stones talks about the sequence and everything she's done with stuff like that. So yeah, it is really about being positive, and that's why I still get people who feel coming on board because they know I'm not going to start asking those very awkward questions and put them in you can't go with rumors and stuff like that. But anyways, so Stevie, it's been we definitely missed Sheldon. That's why we didn't do our top, because that's copyrighted from our New Jack Swing podcast. But today, we people, you guys have so many things that we missed out. As I mentioned, Pebbles, beautiful. She had the look, she had the voice, and she had the music with behind her, and she did. We still have. I still hope she'll let me interview her. Karen White. Colin just comes in last minute to talk about. Yeah, the Colin White debut album. Did you? When I first heard Superwoman, I could actually taste those eggs when she was cooking the breakfast.
Wow.
When she talks about that, it was such it felt tangible the way she was talking about it. I cooked you, and I remember the video. It just that was a real. It made a real, and I was still in school, boarding school, watching that video, listening to that song. So the fact that we're still, and she's currently in Germany tonight, performing in Germany. She'd be on stage right now. She was in Amsterdam yesterday. But yeah, Karen is still loved around the world, and she gives an amazing show, guys. She puts an amazing show. I got here late. Talk about loose ends. I like the original members. Yes, Miss Eugene. Is it Eugene? I can't remember her surname. Jane Eugene. Yes, she amazing voice. They work great together. I was set up to interview Colin McIntosh, who is the one of the founder members of Loose Ends. We were set up, about to invite him in for interview, and yes, it dropped off, and we haven't been able to speak since. So we'll see. We'll see. Yes, I need to send you that, Stevie, the Demetrius Ship interview.
Definitely.
Yes. But yeah, so guys, it's been a great evening. We've got so much next week, as I mentioned. We will do our who knows what might happen during the middle of the week. Lots of new music that's out. Stetsasonic is out. There were new music. Darren Lighty has a new group with some new music that's coming that's out. And there's some, I'm still expecting Total and 702 over the next couple of weeks as well. Yes. So, Stevie, it's been great. I mean, we've got a lot of people contributing to a lot of good stuff. Lots of memories of some albums and songs.
I'm sea of comments tonight. Got to say, they're on form. They're on form tonight.
Oh, Dan Carroll. Was it Fly Girl? Was it Fly Guy or Sly Guy?
Who's that?
Diane Carroll.
Dina Carroll.
Dina Carroll. Is she the one that is Shy Guy?
She did an album called So Close. No, that was Diana King you're thinking about.
Oh, Diana King. Yeah. That did. Okay, Shy Guy. Yeah. What was the name of that reggae female version of Shabba Ranks? I can't remember her name now. Patra. Yeah, she was big in the States. Yeah, she was big in the States. Yeah, I appreciate you guys that calling Best Podcast. Yeah, you know what makes this show is the fact that you guys are part of it. It doesn't matter what we three of us can be talking, Stevie, Sheldon, myself, but the fact that you guys contribute, and it changes that dynamics. Jeremy, which link are you referring to? Shy Guy was Diana King, Diane King, So I think that's it, Steve. I mean, it's been a great. Oh, hold on. Somebody just popped in. Oh, Jeremy. Oh,
let's have a chat.
Yes, Jeremy, how you doing? You seem like you're in the car, son.
I'm in my car. I was actually out running errands, but I was listening to the show.
Okay, let me try and increase your volume as much as you can. Okay, so what will be on your list, Jeremy?
So my number 10.
Oh, it's a shame.
Oh, Jeremy, so your volume is really low. Are you able to?
He's checking his phone for his list.
Oh, he checked his phone for his list. Okay.
Don't crash. Please don't crash. Please don't crash.
I'm sorry. I'm actually parked now. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you a little bit better now.
Okay. So I'm trying to read the list because I had it typed out on my phone, but I had to pull over because I didn't want to try to read it while driving.
Yeah. Please be safe. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So my number 10, I have it TLC.
We're gonna see TLC.
9, I have Kaleidoscope, which not a lot of people probably listen to that album, but I actually thought it was really great.
No, it's a good album. That strong Neptune's production.
My number 7, I have. I'm sorry, yeah, so 10, 9. So I have number 7. I have SWV.
Yeah, it's probably be about time. Yeah, it's about time.
6, I got Erykah Badu.
Yeah, I mean that yeah, that was a. I mean, especially yeah, beautiful, different vibe that she brought in. Yeah.
My number 5, I have Mary J Blige.
What's the 411?
My
The introduction of hip hop soul.
Yep. My number 4, I got Karen White.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about the gap between Marion and Karen White, and definitely, you know, she had some Secret Rendezvous. She had yeah, I love Karen. Go ahead.
My number 3, I got Vogue.
Born to Sing.
My number 2, I have Sade.
Well, okay, Jeremy. So we had to say that Sade, but she, you know, she was part of a group like yeah. So we got to scratch Sade out, and you got to give us.
Let it pass for this one.
Okay.
Yeah, just because so she's more solo on that one, so I guess I count it down.
Okay. Okay.
My number 1 was Tony Braxton.
Yeah, great choice.
Yeah, definitely great choice. Yeah, especially Tony. I mean, I think because Love Should Have Brought You Home, the Boomerang soundtrack really set her up, and she didn't disappoint with her stuff at all. And if you ever see the interview I did with Darryl Simmons, he pretty much said all those songs were written for Anita Baker, but Anita said it didn't fit her style. And she said, "Why don't you let the young lady who's doing the demos sing the song?" So people, you know, may have Anita was saying, "Look, Tony Braxton's good enough to be a singer, so give her that chance." And and that's how she got her start. So, yeah, definitely an amazing debut album. Yeah. Okay,
Thanks
Jeremy.
for joining us.
Thanks for joining us. Yeah. Tina Moore. I don't think do you know Tina Moore?
Never gonna let you go. Never gonna let you go. Because you're my baby.
Okay, Derek, are you using Wikipedia and just finding a female? Because he's just coming up with he's just coming up with the he's just coming up with the different ones. Now there's so many of them, and then, you know, for you guys, yeah. So Teddy, yeah, we mentioned Angie Stone because it's strange because, you know, Angie Stone was first with the Sequence, then she was with that group. What's the name of that group from out of the UK?
Vertical Hold.
Vertical Hold. Yeah, then before she done with signing with Arista. So it you know, it's almost as if we'd seen her for a long time, but no, she came out with something different and something unique. She's just yeah, as a guest, when you interview her, you have to be prepared for yeah, and be on point. But yeah, so we've mentioned a lot of different people, and so we appreciate all what you've done and all what you brought forward. As I said, we may be back during the midweek. We don't know, but we'll see. Any final words?
Like I say, tonight got lost in the sea of comments from our dedicated viewers. It really helps us out this evening. We had to go. Like I said to Nnamdi, look, we got to go. Like, even though Sheldon weren't here tonight, we got to keep consistent. We got, you know, we've got a hungry set of listeners out there who, you know, want some comfort food as ever on a Sunday evening. Because what else are they doing on a Sunday evening? I mean, my guy's driving and he's still watching the show. That's dedication for you. This is Swavion out there in France. You know, I don't know what even it's probably nothing on French TV tonight. You know,
hello.
You've got Colin there. He's been singing. He's probably been doing a bit of singing this weekend. And you got old Kev the chef there, and then you've got Wikipedia men like Derek coming in and dropping some names on us. So that's what I mean. You know, M Mac is, you know, is it with his old school flavor every week? Can't disappoint. You can't disappoint this audience.
Teddy Strong Bear. Yeah, appreciate you. As I said, you know, guys, it's yeah, Robin was good. Leon, yeah, dropped some few names in there. I mean, there was. I mean, I think on the 25th of May would be exactly 4 years that I started this channel, and the one thing that I always thought about was celebrate the legacy. So if you ever look at the polls were about which was your favorite, not what's the best. It was always about remember albums, old songs, and if you can't remember them, like, you know, we've just mentioned a lot of stuff, and Stevie's saying, yeah, I need to go back and listen to the En Vogue album again. And you guys, sometimes when I have to do interviews, like when we had to prepare for the Troop, I had to listen to all 4 albums within a short period of time. The same thing now we're going to prepare
for. That's not my fault. You didn't bother checking the music out now, you know. That's not my fault.
It's like I've got every SWV album, but to prepare for next week, I've got to have to listen to it again to remember and stuff. And when I do, like, so but the thing is that that was the beauty of what we've been creating, is a sense of, you know, let's celebrate these guys. Because what I hate is like somebody has died and everyone posts, oh, rest in peace. It's like, no, we celebrate them now. Let's enjoy listening to their music now. Let's talk about the fun times and when music was great. There's good music coming out now, no doubt about that. But it's a show and appreciation to the music that we once had, and those artists actually, it's almost like they feed off of that. It's like, you know what, because they don't think they get a lot of love. That's why they think, oh, we need to come and tour in Europe. And I'm like, people love you in the States. It's just that they don't feel as if anyone loves them. So that's what we've been doing here. And, you know, some of these guests, you know, I think Stevie's trying to get Tisha Covington. No, I've never interviewed Tara Kemp yet. So, and it's not that it's not that it's
possible.
Yeah,
anything's possible.
Yeah, I mean, it is a lot of work to try and get these interviews. I mean, sometimes I sit back and think, I can't believe I actually did that, because, you know, because they live in the States. I don't have a go-to person. I just have to hit them up on Twitter, like IG, like most people, and hopefully they get back to me. So yeah, Colin says, check out my mate Ruben James. He's amazing. Okay, Colin is.
I'll tell you what, Nnamdi. It's a good thing you weren't a pilot, you mate. Really good thing you wasn't a pilot, you know, because you'd circle that. You'd come in for landing. You'd come down for landing. Sorry, passengers, we've got to go back up again.
No, but
and then you come back around.
Think about it though.
As we try to leave the podcast, the airplane comes down again for landing.
But you know what, we
goes back up again, and the passengers are like, "What's going on? We want to land." And then he comes back down again, and then he goes back up again.
So Stevie likes to quit and leave early and stuff like that. When we have our normal show with Sheldon, we normally stay up a little bit late.
Always leave them wanting more. Always leave them wanting more. That's what I always say.
Yeah. Well, that's what Teddy's doing when he hasn't yet come for an interview and stuff. But anyway, next week, SWV, get your top 10 favorite SWV tracks. I've got Coco's top 5. I'll ask Lily to forgive me her top 10 ahead of the show, and I'll probably ask Brian Alexander Morgan to give me his top 10 SWV track. So we'll hear from them as well. It would be fantastic if I can get any of them on as well, but I'll get them. If I can't get any of them on, at least I'll get their tracks. But that should be great. And but anyway, we appreciate all the support.
We will be back. We will be back in a few Neil Sadakas. And as they say in Russian, Nnamdi, we must go. Moscow, we must go. As they say in Russia.
Looking for that Teddy interview. Yes, that's coming soon. All right, guys, we'll talk